Being ready isn't a feeling, it's a decision, but you're also gonna take ownership of the fact that you're making a decision no matter what. I'm not ready, I've decided not to do it. That is also a decision. Me deciding not to do it, that is a decision too. Everything that you decide to do in your life, whether you do it or not, is just that. It is a decision. You are making a decision with every move you make or don't make in your life. I'm not going to download the dating app. I've decided not to do it. Still a decision. You are making decisions no matter what. I've decided not to apply for the job. Still a decision. Welcome back to my channel. I'm Life Coach Meg Ellis, and today we are talking about being ready. Ready for your next step, ready for your next opportunity, ready to begin creating your best life ever. So we're actually going to be debunking the feeling of being ready. We're going to see why you're not making those big moves. We're going to talk about the power of decision making. And I'm going to ask you the simplest question ever that will completely change your life if you answer it honestly. So if you are somebody who struggles with feeling ready and you keep putting off that leap of faith, tune in. This episode is for you. And I'm going to tell you this straight out the gate. Being ready is not a feeling. It is a decision. So I'm going to let that sink in. I'm going to tell you this story. I recently had just gotten back from Bali. If you didn't know this, I host wellness retreats all over the world with my yoga colleague, Jose. We own Create Your Fate retreats together. And we host these amazing retreats in beautiful places all over the world. And we just went to Bali. And so it's a mix of life coaching and yoga, and then we do all these fun adventure things. But because we have a mix of people who are into personal development and coaching, and then we have people who attend Jose's yoga classes, we have people who are super into yoga who've never done coaching before, and then we have people who are super into coaching who've never done yoga before, or you have people who show up who have never done either before. But the point is here, we end up with a lot of people who have never done yoga before, and they're really scared to enter into 5 days of daily yoga. It's like, oh my gosh, I can't do it. I've never done this before. I'm a little nervous. I can't even touch my toes. I'm not flexible. And then, they're scared that they're going to be in these classes or these yoga sessions with people who can do all of these things. And it's true. There's a mix of skill level, and that doesn't ultimately matter. But of course, it's a little intimidating at first. It's really scary. Like, oh my gosh, I can't do this. I've never done this. And here I am finding myself across the whole world about to do yoga for the first time. Like, maybe I should have watched a YouTube video before, that kind of thing. And we had this woman on the retreat, and she was a very amateur yogi. I don't know if she had ever done yoga before, but if she had, it had been minimal. And on the last day of the retreat, Jose leads us into learning how to do a headstand. So we're building this up the whole time, right? We're doing different types of yoga, but the crescendo of this whole yoga journey is learning how to do something new and learning how to do a headstand. If you're somebody who has never done yoga before, you're probably thinking, oh my gosh, I can never do that. And guess what? A lot of people who are on the retreats who have not done yoga before also think that, oh my gosh, I can't do that. I don't want to do that. It's scary. This woman who was very inexperienced, she was nervous about the yoga. She's not flexible, and she's saying all these things she's worried about, like, I'm not going to be able to do it. And she tried and she tried, and she kept not getting it until the very end. And this woman, the whole week, she's sitting in the back and she's observing all the people who are good at yoga, and she's trying her absolute best. She's not nailing all the moves exactly the way that you're supposed to, but she's trying, and she's really intimidated on this last day with the headstand. And what does Jose do? He brings her up in front of the entire group, and he makes her be the demo person for the headstand that he's about to introduce to the group. And I am telling you this, if you do not believe that ready is a feeling, it is a decision, listen up. Because how this woman decided, hey, I'm not ready. And that's what she was feeling. I'm not feeling ready. But here I am in front of the whole group. I've never really done yoga before. And you're using me to be the example for this headstand? I'm not ready. If you are waiting for a feeling, if ready is a feeling and you're waiting for it, it is never going to come because it's not a feeling, it is a decision. Because I want you to think about what ready actually feels like. Truly. Have you ever actually thought about what does ready feel like? Think about something in your life that you would really like to do that you're not feeling ready for. What feeling are you waiting to experience? Peaceful, assured, confident, maybe afraid of failure, excited? I don't know. Just start thinking about what do you think ready actually feels like, and we're going to tap back into this later. But Jose said this to this woman in the yoga class. He said, if you don't think you can do it, you're not going to. If you don't think you can do this, then you're not going to. Period. Because what you think is true. What you believe is true. And I talked about that on an episode a couple weeks ago, but what you think is true. If you don't think you can do this, you're not going to. You're not going to be able to do it because your mind, the way your mind works, it looks for reasons to support what it already believes. So take this woman in the yoga. If she believes, oh, I'm not ready, I can't do this. I'm waiting for a feeling and it doesn't feel like I'm ready, so I can't do this. Your mind is going to start looking for ways to support that thought. Well, this person can already do the headstand and I can't even touch my toes yet, and everybody else is better than me. I've never done this before. Your mind is going to start to go there. And guess what? The more evidence that you find, because your mind will find it, you're really going to psych yourself out of doing something. So here's what you're going to do. You're going to start to think about whatever you're not ready for. I'm not ready to get back into a fitness routine. I'm not ready to apply for a new job. I'm not ready to start dating again, whatever it is. You're going to replace I'm not ready with I've decided not to. I've decided not to. I've decided not to do the headstand. And that feeling that comes after that, that's the feeling that we're looking for. Being ready is not a feeling. Being ready is a decision. But you're going to see how you feel after you say, I've decided not to do it. The headstand, I've decided not to do it. The new job I'm going to apply for, I've decided not to do it. Sit in that feeling. How does that feel? I think y'all know I talk about this all the time. I have a goal of being on a TED Talk. And I could sit around and say, I'm not ready, I'm not ready, I'm not ready. I've decided not to do it. How do you feel after that? Me, whenever I say that about my own personal goal, I feel sad. That makes me feel really sad. It makes me feel stuck. It kind of makes me feel like, what's the point? I've decided not to do it, so I might as well not do anything else. How do you feel? And you have to sit with that feeling, and when you do, you're going to see that feeling. I've decided not to do it. You get left with very little options. And I want you to accept this fact that I'm about to say next. Being ready isn't a feeling, it's a decision. But you're also going to take ownership of the fact that you're making a decision no matter what. This woman could have said, hey, I'm not ready. I've decided not to do it. That is also a decision. Me deciding not to do it, that is a decision too. Everything that you decide to do in your life, whether you do it or not, is just that. It is a decision. You are making a decision with every move you make or don't make in your life. I'm not going to download the dating app. I've decided not to do it. Still a decision. You are making decisions no matter what. I've decided not to apply for the job. Still a decision. And I get a lot of kickback with this. I actually posted this as a reel on Instagram, and I got a lot of feedback, so I thought I'd do a whole episode on it. And one of the common responses that I got was people grasping this idea, well, what if you're not ready for it? And they brought up situations like leaving a relationship or leaving a job. And you're going to ask yourself, sometimes you are not ready. And that's fine. Hey, I've decided not to. I'm not ready to get divorced. I've decided not to do it. See how you feel. You might feel relieved, right? You might feel, this is not the time for it yet. And that's a decision. That is still a decision. I've decided not to do it. Not doing anything about it yet. That's still a choice. And that's okay. It's a decision. And sometimes it is valid, and that's okay. Take the woman in the headstand. I'm not ready. I've decided not to do it. Fine. Ask yourself why. Whenever you've said, I've decided not to do it, just ask yourself why. It might be something like, well, I have a shoulder injury, or I don't have anybody to assist me. I've never even seen it done before or heard anybody explain it yet, right? When you ask yourself, why have you decided not to do it? That's when we can get to the deeper issue here. And that's where we can start to navigate what is truly holding me back. Is it a shoulder injury, or are you just scared? Where are you selling yourself short? Where are you downplaying yourself? Is it fear? Or is it a valid reason? Like, I have a shoulder injury and I haven't healed properly to allow me to do something like this, right? And when you ask yourself the why am I deciding not to do this? You can see the truth about what is truly holding you back. And it actually presents you with options. I've decided not to do this. Why? Ask yourself that. Well, it's a shoulder injury and I don't have anyone to assist me or whatever it is. Okay, you still have options. I can do a modification. I can get assistance. I can watch somebody else do this. These are still options. And again, modification, still a decision. Getting someone to assist you with the headstand, still a decision. Watching somebody else do it first, still a decision. Everything you do is a choice. Take ownership of that. Leaving a relationship, I've decided not to do it. Why? Because I still care for this person. We haven't tried counseling yet. I haven't fully invested into why I feel the way I do. I haven't done my own self-work to figure out how I can show up for myself, let alone show up for my partner and my family. Great, that is fine. But when you get to the why, you still have options. Okay, what can you do? Well, I can start working on myself, or I can go to counseling with this person, or whatever it is. Again, decision, decision, decision. Everywhere you look, right and left, is a decision. So let's go back to that feeling that you're waiting for, this ready feeling. This assuredness, this confidence, this lack of fear. Is that what you think you're waiting for? Because I'm going to tell you this. You can feel multiple things at the same time, and that is okay. Thinking that ready, this feeling of ready, can only be one emotion, that is where you are being misled. And that is going to keep you spinning in circles, never making any decision, whether it's forward motion in, I've decided not to do this. Why? Because of X, Y, and Z. Okay, let me make a smaller decision. Or take I'm ready means I've decided to do it and making a decision in that direction. What feeling are you waiting for, and why do you think that that feeling is mutually exclusive? I'll give you an example here. That classic example of going to present something on stage, or maybe you're about to make a speech or a presentation at work, or you're going to play in the championship game, or you're about to skydive or something like that, something big that is scary, whatever is scary to you. And that classic example of, okay, I'm about to do this TED Talk. How do you feel? Oh, I feel nervous and excited. How often have you said, I feel nervous and excited, or have heard somebody else say, I'm nervous and excited at the same time? Probably often. I'm about to do this headstand. How do you feel? Well, I feel afraid and a little curious if I can do it. Or I think I'm about to leave a relationship. How do you feel? Oh, well, let's not limit it to two emotions. You probably feel sad, angry, relieved, and a plethora of other emotions. You are allowed to feel multiple emotions at the same time, and that doesn't mean you are not ready just because you do. Most of the time, you probably do feel multiple things at the same time. So if you're waiting to feel confident, period, that's not going to work. That doesn't actually exist. You can feel confident and nervous at the same time. So this feeling of readiness, one, it's not a feeling, it's a decision, but this idea of the feeling, can we make it a little bit more malleable here, where it's not just black and white, it's not just I feel confident, I feel assured, I feel like I'm not going to fail. Because if you are waiting to experience that, you're not going to, because we are complex creatures, being a human, right? You can feel multiple things at a time, and that is okay, and accept that and stop waiting to just feel one thing. That's not readiness. That is a farce. Because when you bind yourself to feeling just one emotion, or thinking I should just feel one emotion, that creates confusion. And it is that confusion that makes you want to not make any move. But what you have to accept is you are always making a decision in whatever move you make. So, one, own that it's a decision. Everything you do, it's a choice. And own that you're not going to just feel one emotion, and when you feel that one emotion, that means it's go time. It doesn't work like that. Allow yourself and give yourself permission to feel multiple things at the same time, because there's a lot going on in this human vessel that we're all walking around in, and thinking that you're going to be able to just feel one emotion ever, let alone when you're about to do something scary, is not true. It doesn't exist. So this woman who is brought up to do this headstand in front of the whole group, she could have said, oh, I'm not ready. I've decided not to do it. Why? Because I'm nervous. I'm scared. And when you identify that, most of the time, am I just downplaying myself? Am I letting fear rule my life? Do I want to accept that? Do I want that to be my choice? I decided to stay in fear. No, I don't want that to rule my decision. I don't want that to be my decision. My decision is I let fear hold me back. I let fear downplay myself. I let fear sell myself short. Because I thought if I felt fear, that means I also couldn't be excited or curious at the same time. So I'm going to honor multiple emotions and say, yeah, I am scared, but I am also curious, nervous, excited. And I'm going to allow myself to feel multiple things. And then I'm going to attach myself to the one that I want to feel. I want to feel excited. Okay, because if I look for ways that I'm actually excited about this, I'm not going to let the fear be my dominant emotion, because remember, your brain is going to look for reasons to support the fear. No, I'm going to look for ways to support the excitement. What am I excited about? Well, if I do this, I'm going to get a picture of it and I'm going to send it to my daughter and I'm going to post it and say, oh my gosh, look what I did. I couldn't even I can't even touch my toes, but look at me doing this headstand and yoga. Wow. And I'm going to attach myself to the feeling that I actually want to feel. And then I'm going to say, I'm ready, meaning I've decided to do it. Yeah, I've decided to do it because I am excited. And I still feel all these other things, but I'm not going to let that dominate my decision. Because remember, you're always making a decision. So this woman, she goes up there, she gets assisted by Jose, and she nails this headstand on the first try. On the first try, we snapped the pictures, she's sending it to her family, she is so excited, and she could have let fear run the show. She could have said, I'm not ready. I've decided not to do it. Why? Because I'm scared and I'm going to let that run my decision. No, she could have done that, but she didn't. She said, no, being ready isn't a feeling, because there's a lot of feelings going on here. I'm going to pick the one that I actually want to feel, run with that. But being ready is a decision. I have decided to do this. I've decided to try it. So I'm going to leave you with this one question. And this is your challenge for today, this week, this month, this year, whatever it looks like for you to do that thing that you're just not ready for, that you're deciding not to do. Here's the challenge. What would 20 seconds of insane courage look like for you? What would 20 seconds of insane courage look like for you? Well, for this woman on the retreat, it said, I'm going to go up there and I'm going to try this headstand in front of all these people who I don't really know that well, and I could possibly make a fool out of myself, but I'm going to do it. 20 seconds. That's all it takes. So that's what I'm going to leave you with. 20 seconds of insane courage for this thing that you're not quite ready for, the thing you're deciding not to do. What would 20 seconds of insane courage look like for you? That's what I'm going to leave you with. I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, subscribe. I post episodes like this all the time. I actually have extra exclusive episodes for my online coaching membership, where you can access these special podcast episodes with myself and all the coaches of Phoenix 8. So look in the show notes. There's a special offer for you to access all these podcast episodes, all these self-guided courses, all these journal prompts, all these amazing coaching resources, live calls, everything. So make sure you check that out. If you like this episode, I absolutely know you're going to love those community episodes as well. And of course, if you know somebody who is struggling with not quite being ready or not making moves, send this episode to them. Be their biggest hype man. I love when you share this show with other people. It helps my show grow. It helps them grow. It helps us all grow so we can continue to grow together. So thank you from the bottom of my heart for sharing this episode. That's all I got for you today. I'm going to leave you the way I always leave you. It's this: expect good things always, and they will happen.